Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. We're here with one of our most anticipated reviews of the year. I'm sorry to speak for both of us, but I think it's easy to make that statement as well.
Oh, yeah. It should be of no secret.
Yeah, you've been asking me about this every single week, maybe even multiple times a week leading into it.
For months.
Do we have access to I Expect You to Die 3 yet? Do we have it yet? Do we have it yet?
And when I started doing it, too, it was very unrealistic that the answer would have been yes.
Yeah, you were even joking, like, I don't need any character models. I'll play it with all the...
Give me wireframe mode.
I'll do it with bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we're here with the review of I Expect You to Die 3, Cog in the Machine.
Yay.
And like I said, one of our most anticipated releases of the year, because I Expect You to Die 1 and 2 are still, to this day, two of my favorite VR games. Mm-hmm. If you like puzzle games or escape rooms, some people might hear, do you like puzzle games? They would think like puzzle, like physical puzzles. So they would say no, but then you puzzles. Go, do you like escape rooms? And they would say yes. So that's an important thing. It's a puzzle game, but I would also call it a VR escape room.
1,000,000%.
Every level in all of the Expect You to Die games is pretty much its own escape room that you're going to die a lot in. And something I had mentioned on Monday that I was curious about. Also, well, before I go too crazy, I guess I should explain the finer details and stuff. And
well, who makes it?
Exactly, and all that stuff. And it's also important to say, yes, we did get, free early access to the game so that way we could produce coverage of it.
Yeah, we did not speed back time. And
no, I just wanted, hey, the games are reviews coming out of it before the actual game's out. So that should be obvious that we got early access and,
And really careful consideration to things we shouldn't say.
Oh, yeah. We're going to...
Very careful.
Even if this game was out already, even if it was out for 3 months, we're very anti-story spoilers.
Yeah.
Especially in a game like this. This actually makes it very hard for... how do we display? We like to put footage of the game in the background of the video episodes. But how do you? In this one, for one, the game's not even out yet, so I feel weird even showing all the levels around. But then even if I showed it, I mean, anything I do is going to be...
Other than look around, but then even then, that gives you a little pre-look at the next level. I'd be bummed if I saw all the levels before I played it.
Correct. And to me, that's half the fun. Mm-hmm. And... even if you were just like, well, I'll interact with things that aren't a spoiler. Well, just by interacting with that, then you go, well, that's not the advanced level. No. So anything you do is a spoiler. So even talking about the story, or showing footage, it's a tough one with this one. But we've reviewed 1 and 2. We've done it before. Think we can do it again very easily. Like I said, one of our all-time favorite series, and it's developed and published by Schell Games, one of the top developers in VR, makers of Until You Fall. Mm-hmm. Very easy to mix up those two games.
That would have been a big mistake.
Yeah, hey, After the Fall is a great game. I actually think I did it before in one of our Patreon members and moderators. Amelia's like, just so you know, made it. And I was like, it's so easy when you're just in the middle, 30 minutes into just going.
Pistol Whip, Pixel Rip.
Yeah, we talked about that Monday. We've talked about that every week. That's a great example as well. But Schell Games is, anything they make is golden. Among Us VR and the I Expect You to Die series, it speaks to that too.
That's my favorite.
To me, that's their gold standard. And everybody might have a different favorite Schell Games game, but mine's definitely the I Expect You to Die series. And this game comes out August 17th, 2023. It's going to be $24.99 on the official MetaQuest store.
Which is a steal.
Mm-hmm. And if you pre-order it, it's 10% off for $22.49. But come on. Like you said, $25 for this one.
No, it's legit a steal.
And again, we're not going to give any spoilers on the story or anything besides what's already been shown or said in the store description.
In their own words.
Yep. Exactly. But what's fair to say for this one is, and it was a concern of mine on Monday, that, would you be able to play this game without having played 1 and 2? And I 100% believe you could hop into the series and still enjoy it and still have a great time. Of course, you're going to have significantly more enjoyment of the story, having played as Agent Phoenix for 2 games, known the handler this long, it's obviously better to have played the first 2, but you could hop into the third one right away. The biggest reason I would say not to, besides the story, is I feel like where 1 left off in difficulty, 2 picked up on and then just continued, and where 2 left off in difficulty, I feel like 3 just picked up right from there and just kept getting harder. Like every one of these levels is so freaking hard for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, either we both got real dumb.
Yeah, either we've gotten sloppy
since 2 to 3, which I don't think is the case. But at the same time, it's like they've yet to really repeat puzzles or different. So, I mean, they're getting more creative. And with that comes much harder, in my opinion, much harder puzzles and things to figure out. I was like, okay, there's no gimmies. There was one level we went to after completing one, and I was like, all right, maybe they're going to throw me an easy bone, right? I don't know why my brain was even thinking this was going to happen, but it loaded in, and I instantly knew. I'm like, okay, we're getting harder. I get it.
Yeah, that's how the series has always felt to me, man, that every level gets harder.
This one's really, really, really had to have to think.
I honestly even feel that, the graphics in 1 hold up. I feel like one day they could do a remaster of the I Expect You to Die series, and you could start with I Expect You to Die 1 and just have them be one big, massive game, and it could flow from 1 to 2 to 3. That's how continuous it works.
Oh, just stitch them?
Yeah. 100%, like an Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, as long as the opening credits were there for each one, I'm pretty
yeah.
content.
And look, the opening credits existed already. Like they were out. You could go watch it flat screen.
YouTube.
When I watched it the first time, even that same cinematic, I wasn't sure if that was going to be the same cinematic that shows in the headset. I should have assumed because they said, here's the opening credits, right? But I was still
They were the opening credits.
They were indeed. It's different in the headset. 1,000,000%.
Oh, because you're in there, man.
I think I know you're going to agree because you even had to go back and listen to the other 2 intros back to back, but
I did.
I think 3 is the best.
Yeah, especially after, because I remember I was like, I have to listen to 1 and 2 again because I might just have
recency bias.
Yeah, I'm just excited because it's a new intro. But in fact, I believe, in my opinion, each one has gotten better. Although there's some who argue the first one is much better than the second one. But in my opinion, it's just the opposite. It's gone 1, 2, and now this opening credit's so good. I mean, they give you the ability to rewatch it, and I've already rewatched it, and plus I've watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, you know what's funny? If I'm trying to think back to what I said about the second game versus the first with intro, and I feel like at the time, because we went straight from the first to the second because the first was already out, I feel like I was like, I think I still kind of like the first intro more. But now that it's digested for so long, to me it's unquestionable. I like the second game's intro more than the first, and I like the third's more than the second's. To me, it's straight like that. Not that one's was bad. That set the standard for how great that aspect of the series was going to be. The opening scenes to me is a big part about getting a new I Expect You to Die game. One's was great, two's was even better, and now I think three's is the best.
Yeah,
Did you get goosebumps?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Right towards the end of the.
Felt them creep up my arm.
What do you think I watched it again for?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is. I will say on record that Schell Games produces the best opening credits I've ever seen for a game. Period.
Yeah, I'd say the best in-game opening. So both the best opening visuals in terms of like the visual cinematic of it, but also having such a high quality, unique piece of music made for the game.
Yeah, it's 1,000,000% commercial quality sound. It's like what you'd expect from a movie. No, nothing less either. And in game as well. It's like, again, the best opening for a game I've ever played.
Yeah, and here's the thing about reviews. What I'm about to say that I love about this game, and I hope they continue with all the future sequels and stuff, other people are going to have opposite. Other reviewers are going to say the other thing. And they're going to say, oh, I want the opposite. But for me, what I loved about this game, and we had even talked about this months ago, that they could take the I Expect You to Die gameplay and everything, and just make new, 6, 7 new escape rooms, 8 new, whatever the number is, and make a new game and just continue to do that forever, and we would be happy. I don't think they need to add new aspects to I Expect You to Die. Like, I give you a gun or anything. It's everything the same about 1 and 2 conceptually, doing what works in 1 and 2 and just continuing it in 3. There's no crazy new gameplay elements. There's no like, oh, this aspect makes this game completely different than 1 and 2, besides the puzzles being different and the interactions. But the gameplay and the core concept of the game has remained the same in 1, 2, and 3. And for some series, you do want to see new things added gameplay-wise to the series and yada yada, in like RPGs and in shooter sequels. But in I Expect You to Die, I want them to stay true to the core of the game, and they have, and for me, I love that aspect.
Yeah, I think any argument someone would give to that, you could just be like, well, obviously you're not a James Bond fan.
Yeah, you at this
because point, they've swapped out multiple actors to play James Bond since the original, and they've always, for the most part, until modern day Bond, one could argue they've stayed pretty true to their, to what they've always produced. So I expect You to Die as a series to continue no different than from 1 to 3 to 20.
Yes.
It's just going to be a massive continuation of your role as a spy.
Me personally, if I played a new I Expect You to Die and it was suddenly a whole different game, or there was like these new gameplay elements, I would not like it. I'll be honestly.
Well,
the only thing I'm open to is mixed reality elements.
I won't shit on new gameplay elements because they're having to invent so much new stuff to not be repetitive that, if they brought something into it that was, new, depending on what it was, I'm not going to be upset about it.
Well, to me, there is new gameplay.
What if they gave you a lightsaber?
Well, if it was used as part of the puzzle,
So I'm just because in my head when I play these, and I wondered this after 2, is like, at what point can you still be making new stuff and make it fresh and something that like other escape rooms haven't done and other puzzle games haven't done? There's some similarities, but I've yet to feel like I've played a repetitive, like, oh, I got this in the bag. And it's always a different sequence of events. So, I mean,
your concern isn't that you get bored with it. Your concern is that at what point can you still make new levels? Like, you've completely dried up your idea well.
I want to Expect You to Die 100, but how the hell are you going to keep reinventing new stuff?
I have confidence.
I do too. I'm just curious how the hell is it going to happen? Because
I need to make a clarification too. When I say there's not new gameplay elements, I mean like huge changes. There's you referenced it. Every game they get better with the puzzles and like using new things in the puzzles. There's a shit ton of gameplay innovation in the puzzles, but it remains true to the core of the series.
And what makes them incredible is they follow a story. So it's not like each puzzle room's its own individual little story. It's just a chapter in the main story. So that's always impressed me because it really makes you feel like you are the role, especially that first one, dude. Remember the first one in the car? Mm-hmm. You're like, what the hell is this? What do I do? You like unrolled the window and touch something and you fucking die.
Yeah, and
like, holy crap, man. I'll never forget that first. Well, just like when we were listening to the theme song for the first one, it gave me such like memories of like how excited were we when that was loading in and we heard that music going on. It's taking you on that journey, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not prepared for this.
The car level is the first level of the first I Expect You to Die game. Mm-hmm. And I said it.
I don't think that's a spoiler at this point.
No, I've said it multiple times at this point. That is the greatest introduction of what to expect at the game.
Right? And they haven't deviated, man.
Because I remember when we played
There you go.
Yeah. I'll say, spoiler, hey, there is a lot of ways to die in this game and all the levels. I think that's expected if that wasn't the case.
And they typically always, not always, but they seem to be not cheats, but instructions don't always make sense when you read them.
Mm-hmm.
But
the characters might do a dialogue hint.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's possible. Anything's possible.
But again, that first level in that first game being the car is the best introduction to the series. And I actually believe it was the developer of Espire said the same thing, that was one of his first VR experiences, if I'm remembering correctly.
It's possible.
Michael Wentworth Bell, and it's, man, I think that you could throw somebody into
Aspire Mike.
Yeah, Aspire Mike. I think you could throw
Aspire Mike.
somebody into that car level in the first game as a demo of VR. Like, hey, have you ever tried VR before? And that's a phenomenal first VR experience.
It's going to keep them busy for 45 minutes.
Like, and it's so interactable, and it shows you the potential of room scale VR. And that level to me is like the core structure of every level to come, just conceptually.
You're going to get better.
You got to escape this. You got to advance this. Although, I actually believe that this game does feature a new gameplay mechanic I've never done in an I Expect You to Die game.
Are you allowed to say? Or you want to tell me off?
So we talked about it a little off air, and here's what we're going to do. Because it might spoil a little bit of level, like what the level is. I think it is
a spoiler, kind of, but we're going to make this fair.
And everybody has different tolerances of what's acceptable for a spoiler for them. And it's everybody's different. Me, I want to find out what each level it is the moment I go in for the first time. That's a huge part of the game. And there's some people, they're like, I don't care to know what each level is. I'd love to see each level ahead of time. And it's not going to ruin the experience at all to know what each level is. So if you aren't the type of person that cares about that, you can keep listening. However, if you care about organically finding out on your own and experiencing the first time 100% of each level, then what we'll do is, I'll say it real quick, the gameplay element that it introduces. If you care about it, you're going to hit the fast forward, the 15 or 30 second fast forward.
Yeah, we'll get it done in under 15. So you're
under
both
15.
Covered.
Yeah, everybody's covered.
All right.
And then, you'll be good from there. Because me personally, I don't think I would want that aspect spoiled. But
I think this is totally a spoiler.
Yeah, they do introduce a wicked smooth new driving mechanic in the game of a vehicle. I won't say what type of vehicle or anything like that, but you do drive. Yeah, and it's smooth.
They did it well. It gave me hope for other games.
Unbelievably smooth. Boom, under 15 seconds.
Under 15. All right.
Whoa. That they make pills for that. But 13.95 seconds was the exact time.
If I come in under 15, I won the race.
But nonetheless, so that's the only new gameplay element. And just because I didn't think it existed in any other game before, but I don't even know.
Not in theirs, no.
So I don't know if that's a huge divot from the series though, because that fits it so well, and it's kind of almost a throw.
Part of it has to happen. There's no other way.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it fit well, and I don't think that was like a negative gameplay introduction. It was actually, like you said, it was.
No, but there'll be somebody out there who might be like, you've deviated from the norm.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing: if that was the only level,
but you just happen to agree with it.
If that was the only level of I Expect You to Die 3 I got to experience, and that was my basis of the whole game, I would go, okay, let's see what the whole game has to offer, but that's not the first level in the game anyway. So I could see how if that was your first level.
I think the third.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't start the game like that. I don't know if it would have.
No. They do their level placement, definitely in flow with the story. So, I mean, where they're at in the story, it wouldn't have worked in the first.
Yeah, because I could totally see.
Anyways,
I could totally see if somebody played that as the first level, being like, "Whoa, you guys are going."
They make you think in the intro to this game. You're not just jumping in. You got to figure just a little brain stretch.
Yeah, there's a tutorial. So they bring back the tape element, which is it's a central part of
the VCR tape.
Yeah, that's a central part of the series. They bring in a new aspect of getting the tapes that I won't spoil. That's really cool. I love your loadout, your hideout. Every hideout has every game has a different hideout. I love your spy hideout in this one. And, you know, every game features the core recurring characters. You have 3 core ones, in my opinion. You have your character, Agent Phoenix, 007, James Bond, basically. You're the badass secret agent. You know, with telekinesis is the unique aspect of this game, but it's a gameplay element thing that allows you to grab things from a distance, move it up and down.
Because it's a stationary game. They actually encourage you to play it sitting down.
Yeah. When you load in, they're like, hey, this is a seated experience. Have a seat and enjoy it. And everything's going to be within arm reach. So not only is it room scale, it's small room scale. It's sitting room scale. So that aspect is really cool. You know, you don't have to like move around a bunch, and you can focus on just thinking. But they keep that core VCR element going in it.
Yeah, man. It also dates like the time period. Otherwise, you'd be putting in a DVD.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if there's some kids that are like, "What are these?" Although I always knew what a cassette was when I was a kid, and
but
cassettes
dude, nowadays,
were aged.
I mean, think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Today's day and age, the guaranteed kids don't know what. The majority wouldn't know what a VHS. Like if you showed it to them, like what the hell is it? Or the cassette tape.
Oh, I kind of lost my train of thought, and then I went back to the tapes.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was like there's like 3 core characters. Agent Phoenix, like I said, the typical you, that's your player.
The player
With the telekinesis. And yeah, the telekinesis lets you
yes,
move. That's where we left off. It lets you
that
move.
is not a character.
No, the telekinesis lets you move, like we said, move things up and down, grab it. It also lets you freeze stuff in place. That's something that exists in all 3 games and makes the gameplay in it a lot better. Don't forget to use your distance grabbing. You know, you're gonna go mad trying to grab
There's no way
everything
to
with your
play it
hands. Yeah,
otherwise.
yeah, and definitely take advantage of the freezing, like in the air. I used to not. I used to like. I don't know. My first level I went into back in this game because we hadn't played I Expect You to Die 1 and 2 in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't use my freezing aspect at all, like freezing stuff in place at all, and it was much more useful in the rest of the levels to do it. So don't forget about that element.
I definitely use it.
But
only in areas where I know there's nothing I'll ever need to see. There's nothing I've already cleared out, so I know there's no surprises there, and then I'll do like a little pattern of stuff that I've acquired.
Well, and to make it worse, you know, it's not like
Especially instructions.
not like they didn't tell me about it again, because what's cool is, you know, you load in, you have your phenomenal intro in VR with the amazing song and the cinematic of it, and then you do a tutorial where they're going to teach you the game again. But there's some puzzle element in it too, just to warm you up.
So I said some brain stretching.
It kind of pats you on the head a little, you know. You just
Gives you a little bit of hope.
Have you roll the shoulders a bit, you know,
Thinking you're going to go in there and crush this.
take out the rust, you know. But they're going to teach you how to play the game, whether if it's your first time playing or you're familiar with the series. But hey, you haven't played since I Expect You to Die 2, so it's been a little bit. So they give you a quick little tutorial level, and then you get right into it. I won't say the exact number of levels, you know, because to me, I haven't seen it said anywhere, so I don't know if they're holding off on that. But
yeah, I mean, it's not said in their description, so I won't blow their spot.
no,
But there's a good amount.
yeah, and to oh my goodness, man, I'm doing terrible with finishing this 3 core characters. Who are the other 2 core recurring characters? Right, you have yourself, Agent Phoenix, then you have Dr. Zor, who's always the main antagonist, you know, that you're trying to take him down and you win, but you never fully kill him in the series, you know, in the first 2 or anything like that.
Just gets different henchmen.
Yeah, he's the main
Hench people.
He's the main antagonist of the series. He always will be, in my opinion. Your Agent Phoenix always. I would be.
Till they end it.
Yeah. Do you think that they would ever kill off Agent Phoenix and then you play as a different person? To me, that's like a new James Bond movie without. But like, it's not James Bond. It's 007. Ethan Frank. It's like, what are we doing?
No,
I think you need to be Agent Phoenix always, and I think it needs to be Dr. Zor. But like you said, every game has the 3rd main recurring character is the handler. He's in every game. So by the 3rd one, you know the handler's character very well. I always enjoy his dialogue in my ear.
Yeah, he reminds me of Q from James Bond. I hate to make the constant because James Bond was a license to kill, where your character is not.
No, solving.
Yeah, your character seems to be more brainy than the romantic type that's going to woo the women and kill the bad guy.
No, I've never gotten laid, and I expect you to die. Not yet.
No, I'm not upset about that. I expect you to not get any.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying. It's not a 1-to-1 James Bond, but you have the influences. That's why you make
and they know it. It's the music and the effects and just the overall feel.
So you have Agent Phoenix, you have Dr. Zor, and then you have the Handler. And you, in my opinion, those are the three characters you should see in every I Expect You to Die game. Just like deviating from the gameplay, if they release an I Expect You to Die without those three characters, I think I'd be a bit disappointed. Like, that's the way it got.
I don't mind if they swapped out bad guys.
What, Dr. Zor?
Yeah, there's always another evil person looking to step into the market.
He's never really like the main person you're going after. Like you mentioned, what changes is the henchmen of each game, which is really the main antagonist of the game. Guns. He's the main antagonist of the overall plot line.
Or she.
No, well, yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe, did we meet Doctor? I think we know Dr. Zor's gender.
No, I'm saying the henchman in this one.
Well, no.
Person.
So what I'm saying is Dr. Zor, he's the main antagonist of the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And then in individual games, they have an antagonist of the game. And the main antagonist in this one is Dr. Roxanne Prism. So it says it right on the store page. It's not a spoiler. It says she's a scientist and former agency inventor. And she believes she can create a better agent, one that's superior to our human agents. And she has it out for you, agent. Your mission, stay alive long enough to defeat this new escalating threat. And she's a fun, great voice actor. I think she's very well done as a character, too.
There's nobody in their series that's not top notch. From vocals to sound effect to the overall feel is spot on. I mean, they've set their bar high. So, I mean, my expectations when I see one of the I Expect You to Die is pretty friggin' huge. I think I mentioned it before we got our dirty paws on this, that I have huge expectations for it.
Has it hit them? Has it met them?
It surpassed them.
Oh, man. Have they? Oh.
Absolutely surpassed them.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, they hold a lot of, and this is just personal. There's people who don't like puzzle games and escape rooms. So this 100% isn't for you.
But if you like those.
But yeah, if that's your jam, then this is
a gold standard.
It's like, there's very few that do it like this. And if any, really. I mean, there's been some other ones that we've played, but not like this. Atlas Mystery was really good.
Yeah, that one should be on the official store.
That was
100%.
Because it also told a really good story. But
I'll go on.
Schell Games is on a friggin' roll with. They got their own little franchise going on just in this alone.
Yeah, they're on their own level. They're really the gold standard, and I think it's, for me personally, I'm happy to say right now, in my opinion, there's no way they're not a Game of the Year candidate. They're absolutely a candidate for Game of the Year, and definitely a candidate for Puzzle Game of the Year.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I'm not going to say that they're going to win, but I mean, how could you not have them a nominee?
I mean, I agree with both. And as it stands right now, that they don't have any competition really as far as
not in 2023
the puzzle or escape room goes.
No.
It's 100% them.
Game of the Year, that's a different conversation. There's 2023 has been loaded.
Unless something major happens between now and January.
But I feel like this is one
I don't see anything in the horizon. So
I think this has been one of the best releases of the year.
You know how many fucking awards this game's going to win?
Yeah.
It's not even funny, dude.
As hyped as it was, I agree.
For the proper category. If you categorize it properly, it's a solo contender.
I agree with everything you said, too. I had high hopes with it. We hadn't talked off the air yet about did it pass expectations. That was organically the first time I heard it from you, and I agree 100% that not only did it meet expectations, it surpassed them. So, yeah, to me, it's a Game of the Year candidate. Puzzle Game of the Year candidate as well, obviously, as a subcategory, too. I agree. It's probably going to win so many awards. It functions great as its own game, first in the series. and it flows right from the second one into the third as well. Again, I think you could just freaking put all of them together into one game, into an ultimate edition.
It's rare when I put up a little fight against like you should really play the first one first or whatever, because a lot of games you don't have to. So I'm like, yeah, you don't have to. I'd really recommend it just for the appreciation value of the series. It's like you're doing an injustice to play the third before the second or first at this point.
Yeah, most games, it's the 100% of the reasoning has to do with story. Like you should play the first one to understand it. For this one, it's 50% to get the understanding of the story, but you'll have full enjoyment just going right into the third. But you'll get more starting from the first. But 50% of the reason I'd tell you to start from the first is for that. And again, the other 50% being because they get harder and harder with each one. Don't do yourself just jumping right into the series.
No,
the hardest
you're
of the hard.
definitely missing out. And there's so much to do in this one as well with like, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, timed. They have some goals.
Oh, there's always something happens.
And it's weird because usually puzzle games and escape rooms, when you finish them, you go, well, that was fun. I did it. I solved everything. There's no reason to go back, where they give you more than a handful of reasons to go back.
They have.
It's genius.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say the reasons they go back. They give you some like side objectives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And hidden objectives. Everyone has side objective and then a hidden objective. Because if you beat the mission, they'll tell you what the side objectives are, but there's a hidden objective in there as well.
Yeah, and until you go in and die, you don't know nothing. Which is funny because you
don't even know the time.
They could tell you like right from the get-go, like here's your objectives that you got to do, but you don't learn that until you die.
Yeah,
and like you will.
The hidden objective,
a bunch. Sometimes on purpose, just to redo it without hitting redo level. I'll do that sometimes.
Yeah,
like I'll be like, you know what, I need to restart because I need to do it. Not that I'm doing it wrong, but I'm gonna see my damn time. I don't need to see an hour. And knock that down to 7.5 minutes.
It's like the side objectives. You read them and you know what you have to do, but it's like, oh damn, I got to do that. The hidden objective, you might know what you're looking for, but you don't know. No, you're still just as lost. If you could know that you had to get in the start.
I've gone back and I haven't still been able to figure some shit out.
Yeah, dude. So it gives great replayability. I only have one criticism.
What's
and it's so minor.
Waiting so much time before the next one drops.
No, quality. I'm not mad at that. Like that, if that's what it takes to get these unique levels that are so well made and so much fun and are difficult that I don't blow through, then I'll wait. So yeah, I'm gonna hear about I Expect You to Die 4 from you in about 3 months. But
that long?
When I finish a level and it shows me my time, even if it's like, all right, I died at the very end. And then I know what to do to beat the game, so I went through it pretty much as fast as I could. The target time or whatever does it say? What's the name of it in the game? I forget what it calls. It's not goal time or target time or whatever it is. Average. I forget what the name that they give it is.
I'm not hitting it.
Outrageously low. Even if you know exactly what to do, in my opinion, there's some that I'm like, there's no way. Even knowing 100% what to do, I'm hitting that time.
Should someone hit it, if you could screenshot that and drop
maybe
it in
I'm slow
and drop that in our Discord, I'd love to see it because and I'd love to see the video clip because that is impressive. There's some things that because I've tried to hit it a couple of times on some of the levels and I'm like, I'm shaving every corner I can think of, but there's just things that happen that take at least 30 seconds. I'm like, I only have 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and I'm looking at it in sections, and I'm like, I cannot hit that freaking time.
Yeah, no
way. So
way.
I can't wait when people are posting videos and shit.
And again, maybe we're just slow with physically how we do it, and also the amount of time it takes us to solve puzzles. But for me, it's like I usually play VR an hour and a half before bed, 2 on the high end. But, an hour 15, an hour 30 is usually my play session. I would say I usually beat a level a night in an hour and 30. Or I got extremely close to beating the level and I topped it off quick the next night. That actually, I think, happened more where I would do the whole level in one night, except one last part that I didn't figure out till right before bed. And then the next day I would just go in, and my first, 15 minutes of playing the game was beating that level and then going to the next.
I tried to speed run one of the, I'll say the middle levels. And again, ridiculously low time, but it took me almost 8 minutes.
Even knowing what to do?
100%.
But how long would it take, you say it took you to finish a level
It varied because there were
say like a night and a half, night and a quarter.
One time I literally was standing there and I'm not doing a damn thing for like 10 minutes. I'm just looking around like I'm at such a loss of what options I have to do here. I have no clue what to do. So for me, it probably about an hour from start to finish for each level on a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but one of them might be more like an hour and a half.
Maybe 2.
It's freaking possible. Yeah. But then once I know what to do, then I try to whiz through it. But then again, it's like even knowing what to do after doing it so many times took me just under 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, holy crap, man.
I'm gonna say for me it took on average a whole night of playing plus 10 minutes the next night. 10 to 15 minutes the next night. That was usually my thing. So the whole night
was a level
a night.
A level a night.
Yeah,
but
that was my goal. I just
went on earlier before you could get on too sometimes. So
that's all right. I don't blame you. I would have done the same
thing.
No,
I told you I'd wait. I'm like, you know what?
I'll wait for you the first time.
Dude, I was too excited when we got it. I mean, let's be honest. I was like, if you weren't working today, I'd leave my job and come home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be home at 1 o'clock. Fuck that.
Oh, and of course, it's the week I'm cutting weight. Mm-hmm. So I'm not 100% brain. Dude, I was even thinking like playing this game is making me hungry because I'm thinking so much. I wish I could play this game with a full plate of food. It's funny how thinking like you want to be, well fed. It makes you hungry when you're just sitting there doing like intellectual work all day. And that's how this game is too. So of course it's the week I'm busy. It's the craziest week. So you're like, dude, I'm waiting for you one night.
The first night.
After that, you're on your own. You're on your own after that.
And even though we party chat, it's like, again, neither one of us are sharing any info.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of talking going on to normal other than, shit, dude, I don't know what to freaking do. There was a lot of that.
Oh my God. There were some times I got incredibly stuck, and like all puzzle games, stuck at different moments. And I won't say that, yeah, I
wouldn't.
Yeah.
You have to think you shouldn't.
Yeah, I almost. But nonetheless, this game is so freaking good. Like I said before, Game of the Year contender. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about the game itself?
Without ruining it? No.
Before we get... You want to go... So, we're going to go into our final thoughts and rating.
Very touchy area for me. Because, dude, I'm telling you, if I heard a review on this game, especially the day before it comes out or 2 days before it comes out, I would be heated if someone ruined any part of it. So I don't think we've said anything. And maybe one thing, which is even debatable.
So like if you're one of those people, just hit the fast.
Hit the fast forward for 15 seconds and it'll be over. So no, I'm full. I'm good.
I think we hit all the dots. It stays true to the Expect to Die series. Intro's great. Whole game's great. Numerous levels, each taking me over a night to complete. The game is so great voice acting. I mean, there's nothing I think I missed.
No.
Like I said, it's a sitted room scale experience. There's nothing that needs to be done in terms of.
I do play it standing.
Oh my goodness, I didn't mention this. I don't remember this aspect of 1 and 2. So correct me if I'm wrong that this was there, but in this one. There's 2 new aspects that I don't remember. So you can click into your trigger. I'm sorry, not your trigger, your analog stick, and it'll make all of the text pop up on like a
what the objects are
on like a so whatever's written on it instead of now being written in the same in-game text where sometimes you can really have to grab it and read. It shows up super accessible to read in a black square box with white text. And I use that all the time when I was stuck.
To cheat?
I would click it. It's not cheating. It's just like, it would never show you anything that's not there.
No, I know.
You can just read better. So to anybody that plays it and they're like, oh man, I have to look, boom, you click into your analog stick, and it shows all of the text in a much more accessible to read view. And then if you ever feel like you missed important dialogue, if you pause the game and then there's a chat history, you click that and it shows you, what was just said, by who, and you can scroll through the past dialogue. I think that's 2 great new additions that I don't remember in the first 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, and they were there and I just happened to miss them, but that's the only accessibility thing I could think that would be needed in the game, and it exists.
No, I mean, I don't use it, admittingly. But I did turn it on just to see what it looked like, and it definitely made reading easier. But no, I like the whole pick something up and pull it up to my...
There's nothing I remember that would be color-based. There was one moment with, like, some colors, but they have, like, a diagram going along with it. So if you don't see this color properly, you're still going to see that's that color on...
Pattern-based, not...
And it's not only color-based. Exactly. Yeah. There's patterns on the color as well. So I think they did that for puzzle design reasons and for colorblind accessibility. So
and I also think for the way people would read something and interpret it.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's for
two
puzzle.
Brains will think different.
I think it's for puzzle reasons, and because that's the only part of the game I remember with being color-based. But it's not color-based. Like you said, it's texture-based. You could you could see gray for every single one of those colors, and you're still going to be able to solve the puzzle. So there's no like accessibility settings besides being able to adjust the sound and stuff and add subtitles. But the addition of making the text easier to read and the chat history, amazing. And then again, there's nothing that I can think that would hinder somebody colorblind or something like that.
No, I think all the colors chosen for all the puzzles seem pretty deliberate.
So
they've made it enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah, great job. If you got short arms, it doesn't matter. You got the telekinesis. You're like, oh, I can't reach anything. I can only move my hands like this.
I use the telekinesis if something is next to me. It's like, I don't have to. I just aim and bring it right to me. As well as you can use objects with the telekinesis.
Because there's been some games I've played where I'm like, I could see if I didn't have longer arms, man, this could be inconvenient. It's like this game, it's not an issue at all.
Give you a short arm setting. Increase your arm length.
Somebody like Skiva, it's like the opposite. It's like, oh my God, this game's so annoying because my arm goes all the way over there.
Skiva doesn't get the teleport option.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay, you're built for the hand.
Doop, right over there. So no, yeah. So no, I can't see any issue that somebody would have. It's a seated experience. You don't really need
if you're going to play sitting like they recommend, you need a really good area to be able to move your arms right and left, though.
Yeah, be prepared to like look all around you.
You need a clear playing space to be seating.
Yeah, and the game it's 365 room scale, so although you're sitting, you might need to like look around you too. It's not just 100. Yeah, it's not just you're staring straight. Look left, right, all around you. Take full advantage of your field of view. So yeah, let's get into our final thoughts and rating. Like always, let's take a quick ad break. But if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe. Rate us 5-star on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. Go drop us a written Apple review. That helps a whole bunch. Or Spotify, But Apple has like the written review feature. We haven't gotten a nice new Apple review in a bit. That would be nice and cool. So go review us on your favorite podcast app as well. Subscribe. Go subscribe on YouTube. We always try to push the YouTube. Go like, comment there. Let us know what you think of the episode. And go be sure to join our official podcast Discord. Full of awesome VR discussion. We talk about it, some would say ad nauseum, but I can't hype it up enough. We have a great Discord community. It's non-toxic, super welcoming, life discussion, VR discussion, talking about the new games, classic games, game meetups, whole bunch of great stuff. The moderators there are awesome. And if you join our Patreon, you get a little exclusive label as the Patreon supporter in our Discord, and you get access to an exclusive chat in there. So be sure to join our Patreon as well. That has some other cool listener perks. And then other than that, we'll be back with you in just a moment with our final thoughts and rating. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design. the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to unleash the beach beast within you. This summer, Manscaped is here to help you level up your beach game with their new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. They're going past waist deep in the grooming game and diving in headfirst into your facial hair fantasies. The Beard Hedger is a game changer, allowing you to shape your beard like a true beach babe. So this summer, let the beach balls bounce and turn heads all over the place. Visit manscaped.com and use the code word RuffTalkVR for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane. So say goodbye to all your stubble trouble with Manscaped's Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. So no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower to avoid all the hair in the sink. The titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency. That brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. The Pro Kit doesn't even end there, though. They've created 4 dermatologist-tested formulations for your post-trim care. First, there's the beard shampoo and conditioner. You need to remember all your hair is different. Your beard hair is more coarse and easier to damage than the hair on your head. That's why the kit has made shampoo and conditioner specifically designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, replace natural oils, and promote beard health. Next, the kit has Manscaped's beard oil. This helps relieve dryness both on the beard and under the skin beneath while adding a little shimmer and shine. Cap off the kit with the Beard Balm, pomade that shapes, styles, moisturizes, and tames for a sculpted look to attract any fellows or dames. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts, a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and be sure to use the code word RuffTalkVR. Manscaped Beard Hedger, 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths.
And we are back. So do you want me to take the lead or do you want to do it? I'll be honest, mine are probably going to be really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably should have done the ad break quicker because
I like the shoes coin he posted.
Yeah.
The Ruff Talk coin. That thing was badass.
We need to get that made.
It's copper, so it shouldn't be the world's worst expense.
No, we need to get that made because flipping the coin each episode, it was a dope coin. Nonetheless, 5 categories, but usually we do gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, replayability, and value, ranked 1 to 20, with the total making up the whole score. We did say that they give you a reason to go back and like side objectives and hidden objectives and stuff like that. But it's not really never in these puzzle games or story-based experiences we keep the replayability category. It's not the core. It's not really fair to hold against a game that's kind of designed to play as a one-time cinematic playthrough, or that's a puzzle game where, now you know what to do. So instead of replayability, we're going to actually replace that with difficulty. So we're going to go gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, difficulty, value, all ranked 1 to 20 with the total making up the final score. Starting with gameplay, stays true to the core aspect of I Expect You to Die series, doesn't try to do anything new and fancy. But what it does better than the other 2 games. It's taken everything great about 1 and 2 and expanded on it. All the levels are so much fun. They're difficult. At times I was frustrated, like I would be in any puzzle, but in a good, fun, frustrated. I loved it. So gameplay's an easy category. I got to give them a 20 out of 20 on gameplay. So fun. Not a single level I disliked. The story was great. The voice acting was great. Everything was great. Like we talked about the level placements of this level, then this level, then this level. There's an art to that as well. Everything was well done in the gameplay. Aesthetics, 20 out of 20. I've thought I Expect You to Die series as a whole has always had some of the best graphics on the Quest series. And I Expect You to Die continues that. As well, the in-game music, the intro, everything like that. So 20 out of 20 on aesthetics. Functionality, no glitches, which is essential for a puzzle game. If there's glitches and there's bugs, it's not like a shooter that, oh my God, that might be funny. My gun just started spinning in a circle. For an escape room or a puzzle game, if something doesn't work, you can't finish the puzzle, and now it's a very bad experience. And luckily, in I Expect You to Die series, there's no bugs, and that stays true in I Expect You to Die 3. Clean functionality. You know, if you're having trouble picking something up, you know, there's times like you might go to do a telekinesis grab on something far away, and then it hits something. Just be smart about where you're pulling something. If there's a chair in the way or something, yeah, it's not going to go through it. You got to go up and over. You know, be smart about where you're pulling stuff, but no bugs or anything like that. Simple gameplay mechanics, you know, so 20 out of 20 on functionality. Difficulty, I'm giving it a 20. I think that this is the hardest of the series. Easy category there, 20 out of 20 on difficulty. Mamma Mia, you know, that's why I say start with 1. Half because of the story, half because this is the hardest of them, in my opinion. So 20 out of 20 on difficulty. In value, for $24.99, $25, this game is a steal if you love puzzle games or escape rooms. That's more than it would cost for one visit to an escape room, you know, for 2. So you get numerous visits to an escape room with this $25, you know, so it's totally worth it. Easy 20 out of 20 on value. So 20 on gameplay, 20 on aesthetics, 20 on functionality, 20 on difficulty, and 20 on value. 100 out of 100 for I Expect You to Die 3.
I am not shocked. And I can't disagree with anything you said. I mean, going into it, I mean, I was hyped anyways. It's no secret. But in my head, I'm like, how do you take greatness and make it better? You know, and 1 and 2 pretty much crushed it. But they have the formula. They followed through with it. I'll get right to it. Gameplay. I mean, come on, man. It's a continuation of something you're already familiar with. If you've played 1 or you've played 1 and 2, you're going to enjoy the ease at which you are back to work, doing what you do best, which is escaping. So the overall gameplay is a friggin' 20. They got the total package going with this between the story and the escape rooms. They could have just dropped escape rooms and been like, just, you know, figure out different rooms and have a Coke and a smile. But they didn't. They're giving you good stories. You're part of it. You know, you're the main character, man, in every one of these. You got to do your job, and you're going to die. But a 20. Aesthetics, the best. I said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it tomorrow if I need to. But the best opening credits to a video game ever is the Expect You to Die series, and they didn't disappoint with 3. I agreed with you earlier. I think 3 is by far the best opening one, and the others were great. But I enjoy their graphics. I enjoy the sound score. I enjoy the voice acting. Everything just sounds very, very, like you, I think you said cinematic, and that's definitely true. So at 20, functionality, we know from talking to developers that do puzzle games, you cannot have, you know, there is no cuteness when the puzzle doesn't work. So you're not allowed any error. That's a 20. I had no issues with anything. And Lord knows I spent quality time screwing off, trying to do and touch anything that was available to be manipulated, to have something put in it, whatever. And had no issues. Was never glitched or felt, you know, like, hey, this isn't working properly. And your tip about bringing stuff out was spot on. So a 20 for functionality. Difficulty, for me, it was the most difficult of the series. I would have to give it a 20. That speaks for itself. And value for money. That $24 was actually under what I thought it would be going for, which was going to be $29. And even then it was a bargain. But $24 is just a steal. If you happen to catch this before the pre-order's done, grab it because it's even cheaper, which is just mind-boggling to me that they would even have to do that. So 2020, another 100. And definitely already a contender for some multiple categories.
Yeah. Like I said, I think one of the most hyped releases of the years and one of the best releases of the year. Has surpassed all expectations.
They delivered.
I Expect You to Die 3, Cog in the Machine, worth every penny for $24.99. Hats off to Schell Games. Great stuff.
Can't wait for 4.
Yeah, but I can't wait for anything Schell Games puts out. You know, one of the best studios in VR, and they prove once again why we say that.
They need to drop one of these once a year.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think once every 2 years is the way it goes.
Take more team people and move them aside.
That's the way it goes. So great stuff from Schell Games. And anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I'm actually going to be going back in and doing some more of the levels because I'm confused as to how people are going to be able to execute at such Flash Gordon speed, but we'll find out.
So, no, let's see if we're just slow with our finish times or if everybody else thinks the same. You know,
we're going to find out real soon.
I'm also curious because, like I said, I think every reviewer is going to be a little bit different about staying true to the core game series with like gameplay and stuff. I'm sure there's going to be a couple people that wanted to see something new, but I love that they kept it true to itself.
They hit it.
So, you know, again, if you've enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and stay tuned for next week's episodes. And don't forget to join that Patreon and official Discord. All right. Ciao, ciao.